Hi everyone, welcome to episode 119 of the Army ThinkTank podcast. I am Jen,
Jess.
and how are we doing today?
I'm feeling all the BTS love this month, I'm feeling so happy and so Bora hate out, just it's BTS month and all I'm feeling is just the happy vibes that
so
brings.
if you guys let you guys know, as we are recording this, it is BTS's birthday in the West, here in the US and Canada. And so we are celebrating to the best of our abilities.
Mm-hmm. Yes, yeah. I am going to a cup sleeve event on the weekend to celebrate the 10th anniversary, so that'll be really fun. Today I thought that we would, sit down and talk about obviously BTS and celebrate Festa for our channel like we do every year. I think it's a really fun tradition. Yep. And
this is our third year being able to do this on the podcast.
So happy third year if you've been with us since the very beginning, and welcome to everybody who is new. So I think I'd like to start off with how, for our new subscribers, how we got into BTS and what our what the base story is.
Do you want to start or do you want me to go first?
It's up to you.
I can go first.
All right,
I don't mind.
Take her away.
So for those who don't know, for new subscribers and everyone, I became an ARMY in 2019. With the Soul Persona era, those kind of armies. And I've said this multiple times over the episode, over the years. I am very thankful to Halsey because she is the one essentially that brought me into this fandom. Been a fan of Halsey since she began and everything. Saw her the first time when she was a first act for Imagine Dragons back in 2016. And one day, Boy With Love popped on my recommended on YouTube because Halsey is the amazing feature on that song. And the rest is kind of a history. I fell in love with a rapper on the piano. He's still my bias to this day. They helped me with my last semester in university, and obviously a lot of other armies all through the pandemic. And this is the quick summarized version of how I became an ARMY. So what about you, Jess?
So I became an ARMY in 2016, which is 7 years ago. Kind of wild to think about that. I had this moment a couple weeks ago being oh my god, it's been 7 years since I've been a part of ARMY and been a part of,
it's well for me that it's already been 4 years, so I can't imagine for you.
Yeah, it's one of those things that doesn't feel necessarily real because it just feels like they've been a part of my life forever. So I got into them because it was another YouTube recommended, but I was specifically searching for one take music videos because I was in film school at the time. I was in my first semester of film school, and Save Me had popped up on the screen and I was enamored immediately. Not just from the visuals, because that music video is so simple because it's just focusing on the choreography and it's that one take where you're just it's so smooth and buttery and I absolutely love it.
Yeah.
But the lyrics really just held me in a position that I can't necessarily put into words, because at the time I was in film school, but I had just graduated from my undergrad degree in theater, and it was kind of this thing where I didn't know what I wanted to do and I didn't know who I was, and it was just I was not in a good place as a person, and my friends at the time will testify to that. Especially my friends in film school, they know how much I was suffering.
Yeah.
And so BTS became that like pillar of safety and like home that I could go back to any time that I needed them. And then it's kind of just been like the rest is history. The rest is
Just everything's been uphill since then, basically.
Everything has been uphill since then. And I attribute a lot of my like personal growth to them because they have, you know, really changed my perspective on so many things that it's a testament to how amazing they are as human beings and artists, that they have the ability to change so many people's lives and affect all armies in a variety of different ways. And like the saying of like you find BTS when you need them is like I live by that.
That's like the cab distribution system.
100%.
It just happens when it needs to happen.
It just happens when it needs to happen. And I think for me, it was like, even now my friends are like, you are so much more who you were meant to be than who you were back when I knew you. So that's all BTS. I mean, part of it is me because I did do personal growth and I changed a lot. And, you know, I started to focus on who I wanted to be and like stop caring a lot about what other people thought. And like, that's all attributed, you know, to me trying to figure those stuff out. But a lot of those first initial questionings and wonderings were because of BTS.
There's nothing wrong with a little push, you know?
Yeah, like everybody needs a little push every once in a while. And I think for me, that was the push that I needed to go forward.
Yeah, I say a lot that like I wouldn't have my bachelor's if they didn't come into my life.
Oh yeah, I don't know if I would have been able to finish film school. I don't even know if I would have been here talking to all of you, to be honest. So
I mean, we definitely wouldn't have met, for one.
No. Yeah, we wouldn't have been friends. So
from across the country.
True.
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 A lot of the friends I have now are thanks to this.
100%. I have never met people who I have an immediate connection with, and people who don't even feel like we've met a couple of years ago, but feel like I've known you my entire life.
My entire life, yes.
Yeah, like it's something that's like inexplainable. You're like, we're not just friends because of BTS. Like they had initially.
Yeah, it's just like a common interest that brought us together, but the rest is all entirely to us and how our group dynamic is.
100%.
And I know that like, even if you're someone that's not like actively talking in a group chat or whatever, like there's this feeling that you know that whenever like you need support or just want to share stuff like exciting news or whatever, you can just like head in there and you'll have this group of people behind you supporting you, hyping you up, comforting
100%.
you if you need it.
Yeah.
And I am forever grateful for that.
Yeah.
1,000%.
It's one of those things like
I'm just so happy that we got into this failed project together and then started this together and we're still doing it like 3 years later.
I know, it doesn't even feel like
it doesn't feel like 3 years.
No, not at all. Like I don't know, 2020 was just like a whirlwind of an experience to live through. And
I believe we met at the end of 2019?
2020.
End of 2020. I wasn't sure if it was already in the pandemic or it was before that.
No, we were already
it's been that long.
Yeah, I know. It's been so long.
But yeah, it's like we started this like last week of December 2020.
Yeah. That was like our first video.
Our first video was a 2020 recap.
Yeah.
For BTS.
Yeah. Like that's crazy to think about that, you know, you make these such strong connections, and even like going to like a concert and meeting other like fellow armies, it's indescribable.
Jess and I have literally one photo of just the two of us together. And I cherish this photo forever.
Yeah.
At one point, when I'm able to travel back to Canada, we're gonna meet up more.
Yes, yeah. I have like
But
the craziest thing to me, like I can't even describe it because it's like we went to PTDLA to meet people who we had only talked with on the internet. We had not met these people in person, and we stayed in hotel rooms together. We booked flights together, tickets together. Like,
yeah, thankfully for me, I had met up with Tanya and Kat a couple times before.
I hadn't met anybody.
I think by the time we went to LA, I had met Kat one-on-one. She's the first one I met.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense, actually. 100%.
She was the first one I met.
Yeah.
Well, because she's technically the one that was living closest to my parents, even if it was like still a while away.
That makes sense, yeah.
And then after that, we met all three of us together with Tanya.
Right.
And then they came to my parents' house a couple times. Yeah, met my cats, my family. Like when we were in the when I was living in the apartment until we moved, our trio photo's been on my nightstand ever since I moved here.
Oh my god.
And now it's above our bed.
Yeah.
So they're always there. I was like, I made sure to move you guys, don't worry, I didn't forget you. So going to LA, I was sharing my room with these two, and then we had JCJ join us as well.
Yeah.
And you think it's like, because I'm the one that shared a bed with JCJ, and you think like someone you just met and you haven't like necessarily talked a lot to in the group chat with, it would be kind of weird. It wasn't.
No.
It wasn't.
No, it was like as soon as we had like all gathered finally like at the airport and had our like first like meal together, it was like no time had passed.
Listen, your mom became my army mom.
True, she is everybody's army mom.
The night of the concert when I had like my low and my panic attack, she was like, all of you were there for me, which was like especially there for me. And then the day after when the live was like the live concert,
you guys had a good time.
You had like a dinner, just the two of us watched the live from your iPad in the hotel room. It was a blast. I love your mom. I've said this like a lot, but like I love you. But listen, she sent me cards.
Yeah.
For like my wedding and for Christmas. It was so sweet.
That's my mom.
I love your mom.
Yeah. My mom is like
your mom again soon.
My mom is like everybody's like army mom. She's a fantastic person.
Mama Jess is the best.
Mama Jess is awesome. It feels so like I talk to these people every day, and I don't even talk to my IRL friends every day. Like I don't, like genuinely, like at all.
My best friend back home is pregnant with a baby, and I don't talk to her every day. I feel so bad.
This is what I'm saying. Like I talk to them every single day to, you know, like I don't know, there's something about the fandom of ARMY.
Like I don't know about you, but I've met like so many friends through BA too.
Oh, 100%, yeah.
Like I'm in that like we talk together, like all of us together, like basically every day.
Yeah.
And it's just it's so nice.
It's so special.
It's so nice.
Like it's just so special to be, you know, one day like crying about something that like JK had posted and then like laughing and screaming and enjoying all the content in a way with
this week
other
we actually put JK to sleep.
Yeah, true. But there's just something so like endearingly special about being a part of something that's like bigger than you, and then you get to meet all of these incredible people because you know that your life has changed, but so has theirs, and that like common connection that you have together. Yeah, there's nothing like it.
All change in like different ways depending on your situation 100%. And everything, but there's so much understanding.
Yes,
and
understanding.
So like zero judgment.
Yes, yeah.
Like between all of us.
And
I wouldn't be like honestly, like a lot of the time I'm just so glad because I'm in the group chat thanks to you.
Yeah.
because we started the podcast and you were like, well, like, I'm gonna add you to this group chat, and like they're all a bunch of Canadians, they're all super nice, and I'm like, okay, and like, at first I'm like really shy.
Yes, yeah.
At first I'm like very shy. I listen more than I talk. But once I'm comfortable around people, like I can't stop talking.
This is very true. This is a facts. This is 100%.
I can't stop talking.
Facts.
And like even now, like my husband is like, "You're not shy, you're lying." I was like, "That's because we've known each other. Like
For a
we've been
long
together for
time.
almost 7 years now.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
you got nothing to say."
Yeah.
But that's how I am. That's how I am, and like even like having my weekly like chat with Jess with the podcast, because like we chat like a little before and a little after, like catch up with each other, and like I don't imagine like the weeks where we can't record for whatever reason, it sucks.
Oh, it's so sad.
Jess and I need our weekly like
100%. I need this time to like dump all of my BTS excitement into something.
It doesn't need to be like too long or whatever. No. We just need to like, how are you doing this week? Anything new? No? Okay, let's go. It's just like just hanging out. It's like, I mean, it's been a routine for the past 3 years now.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have it any other way.
Me neither, to be honest. I like this like past like 10 years of BTS has been an incredible whirlwind, like not just from like the ARMY perspective of as we just talked about, but for them as well. Like I am so proud of the amount of work that it takes to be BTS, and I'm just so proud of where they are now.
Them beating the odds at every single corner.
Yeah.
Everything they've accomplished.
It's incredible.
Sticking together, beating the 7-year curse of the K-pop industry.
Yeah.
Not that I had any doubt.
No.
But
there's something so comforting about them.
They're also different, but
yeah, they're also different, but like I don't know, they have this beautiful connection together that you rarely see in so many forms of media. I think that's also why ARMY connection is so strong with each other, is because their connection together is so strong. And the fact that they are 7 people, like 7 individual people with their own thoughts and feelings, and yet they have this like commonality together, which is BTS.
They have this understanding of each other.
Yeah.
Where like in the past couple of years they have to, like, we barely fight anymore.
No, yeah, what's there to fight about? You're BTS.
It's like at this point you fought enough.
You've fought enough. It's so encouraging to me to see them like not just being a group, but also like finding themselves individually, because I know when they get back together, it's just gonna be this like amazing like coming home feeling, you know?
Each of them is a piece of the puzzle that it is BTS.
Yeah.
If there's a piece missing, it's not complete, you know?
100%. And I think they feel it like all the time. Like even Yoongi on his tour has said like multiple times that I wish that I was here with my members. I can't wait to come back with my members. I wish they were here dancing and performing with me. I'm
really hoping that he brings Jimin on for the Seoul, at least one of the Seoul concerts.
Me too.
Because that's like the one thing he's been talking about since literally before he went on tour.
Yeah.
So I'm really hoping.
I hope so.
I'm really hoping.
I hope so.
Doesn't even need to be Tony Montana. Just like choose one and make it just make it into a duet or something.
Just any of them. Just any of them. Oh, I'm imagining like Life Goes On with Jimin. Come on.
I would love that.
Oh,
I would love that.
Life Goes On is one of my favorite songs. Like,
yeah, Life Goes On Yoongi version with Jimin, that would be wild.
That would be top tier, let's be honest. Anyway, I just wanted to start off this podcast just like saying like our favorite
Stop it.
It's Dago. Our favorite like moments and just like how we became ARMY and how we're sort of like feeling as this 10th anniversary is sort of, you know, rolling out. And I want to know what you guys think. Like, what is your favorite memory as an ARMY, and how do you feel about their 10th anniversary? You can let us know down below in the comment section.
In
I love
the
replying
comments.
to them. So
sometimes you guys are hilarious too in the comments.
so
Because
funny.
like Jess gets to them like a lot more than I do because she does like the whole uploading part on YouTube and everything. And so I go like sometimes like here and there I go and check the comments and I'm like, you guys are fucking funny.
I love ARMY. It's so you guys are hilarious. Like top tier memes. I swear to God.
Funny.
It's so funny. If you wanna like contact us at all, we also have like Instagram and all that.
It's easier to reach us on Instagram for sure.
Yeah, Twitter, we try really hard, but honestly, my personal Twitter is more poppin' than the podcast.
Listen, mine too, and I don't use it as much as I used to.
Yeah.
So
we try. Listen, there's so many social media apps. I can only keep track of so many, man.
Listen, I'm in charge of Twitter, but Twitter is becoming less and less intuitive than it used to be.
Yeah.
So I'm just like, we both get the notifications for Instagram, so usually like one or the other will look it up first, and then the other one will be like, oh, I still have that notification. Let me go and see what it is. So a lot of the time, you might get 2 responses on Instagram.
It's true. You might get both of us. You never know.
I never know. If you do, you're lucky. I'm bad in social media most of the time. That's why.
Yes, usually it's me replying. Just so you know.
And then I come back. If you haven't already liked it, I just reply with a couple hearts and my name.
Yeah.
That's when you know But I see most of everything.
Yeah. We both see everything, but
yeah, we both see everything. Just I don't answer as much as Jess does.
I'm
sorry.
I'm chronically online.
Well, I'm too much of a gamer. That's my issue. Playing too much Diablo.
Fair enough. Anyway, let's talk about
delve into
Festa.
Stuff.
Let's talk about the continuation of Festa.
Well, first things first, on Sunday we reacted to Take Two.
Oh my god.
All of our like lyric breakdown, everything is on that video, so it should be popping out hopefully the information up there somewhere.
Yeah.
But today we got the live performance clip for Take Two. Best thing to wake up to, by 100%. The way.
100%. It has been so hard lately not to just play this on loop. Let me tell you. Like, I have my streaming playlist, but like it's every time that song comes on, I turn up my speaker a little bit because I'm like, I gotta hear this song.
Listen,
so good.
I will admit I may have looped it a couple times.
Just a couple of times.
Just a couple times. And then I went back to my streaming.
You know what's great about
But I'm guilty as charged.
Guilty. So guilty. This is why it's great. Thank you, Hype, for this, for uploading like the 8 different videos on like TikTok and like YouTube, because I can just make a
playlist with all of them, and then you just play all of them back to back, and then it just keeps on going.
It keeps on going. It's perfect. It's my ideal.
I would love that they would do it on Spotify too, even though it's just sound and it wouldn't make a difference.
No, but it would make a difference in my mind. You know what I'm saying?
I wouldn't have to press a repeat button and then
100%. 100%. Yeah, our reaction to Take Two, there's not a lot that I'd want to add to how we reacted.
We're both able to talk pretty well in that reaction video, so please go and watch it if you can.
There was one comment on the video that I was like, thank God somebody else has thought about this except for me. Yes, it does sound like a country song.
I saw that comment.
Pop country mix.
Yes.
I knew it.
I saw that comment, and as soon as I read it, I was like, "Oh my god, Jess!" And then I started laughing.
Hearts to you, ARMY, the Chilean mom.
We love you. Love from Canada. Even though I'm not in Canada, but love it from Canada.
Love from Canada. Yeah, I mean, like the live version, their vocals sound so good. Like, it's funny to me because we just like accept their like live vocals as normal because also they are
we were
amazing.
Wrong for all the guess the chair guesses.
100%. I was absolutely incorrect for every single one of them.
The plush blue one, everyone was like, "Oh, that's V. That's 100% V." And at the back of my mind, I was like, "No, that's Jin. That is 100% Jin." At least that one I was right.
Yeah.
That one I was right.
I'm so funny.
So glad.
So funny.
I was like, it's opulent. like
Yeah.
opulent, you usually like give
Yeah.
that to Tay
It's
because of the way he dresses.
it's Jin
But
though.
it's Jin. Like, just
Listen,
remember his B room.
my husband prefers the nice things. And I love that
Just
about him.
remember his room from B.
It's true.
It makes sense.
It makes sense. I really love, I saw this TikTok that made me like cry laugh because it was just so funny. There's a moment where Hobie and Junie are just like vibing so hard. Like they are listening to a completely different song than the rest of them. Like Jimin is singing his heart out and so is
Listen,
Jin. And then they're just like,
the 94s, there's
like,
something else.
I was crying laughing. I was
But
like, yo!
I just love, like, in the order they were sat in. I don't know, I
Yeah.
just like the soulmates, and then Yoonmin, and then you have Jae between Yoongi and Jin. It just, I don't know,
Yeah.
it makes sense.
It does.
And then Jin and Namjoon, and then
Yeah.
Hobie next to June. It's just, I don't know, it just makes sense.
It was just so like they were so happy and so I don't know. There was just something beautiful about
Everybody had
that.
hair.
Yeah, it was great. I had a great time.
I had to make that comment. I am so sorry. I
It
am
was great.
so sorry.
It was amazing. I absolutely 100 wholeheartedly love that performance. And
So, like, I had to make it funny somehow.
You did. I wish that they would put that on like that version on Spotify because I need it. I need
Well,
it
I also
so
need
badly.
Arson rock version on Spotify,
Yes,
which
okay,
also came out
so-
this week.
Also, yeah, like where that is the Hobie Palooza version of
Yep, it is.
Arson. And you bet see, Kate, this is why I can't share any of those videos from that concert. Let me tell you why.
I know you can. It's
Because
just a flashback to the D-Day tour where you added Max and then he reposted you on his story.
it's because I'm literally screaming. The Arson one, I can't even watch myself because I'm screaming the whole time. The entire time. It's great though. I love that video. Sometimes
I was watching it from this spot, you know? Like, my computer is now in the spot that I was watching Hobie Palooza in.
I'm upset that it's not on, like, I love SoundCloud because a lot of the songs that they post on there are very like remixy and sentimental.
Yeah, but Spotify is so much better.
I want to stream it so badly. And speaking of another song that we are not going to be able to stream, Jimin did a live performance of Dear Army, which was a secret track on his album Face.
Yep.
First of all, my heart. Secondly, I woke up to that and just started crying. Like, I hadn't even watched the video yet.
Yeah.
Already crying. His voice sounded incredible.
When does it not, though?
Wow.
Like, I'm gonna be real
It's
here.
amazing.
When does...
Yeah.
Like, when is... I can't speak. Jimin's voice is the one of an angel.
Oh, it's so beautiful. It's so, like, I love his, like, falsetto head voice. It's absolutely beautiful.
The Take Two live performance, I just wish we had more of the Jin's live ad-libs.
Yes.
That's the one thing that was missing. I just wish he did more of them live
his,
than that
like,
performance.
His voice is so distinct from, like, all the other members. Like, JK's is really, like, that buttery smooth, like, he could do no wrong with that voice. Like, it's a type of voice that I would,
I mean, he is my vocalist for a reason.
Yeah. Jin's is very, like, he like, Yoongi said this, you know, he has the widest range out of all the members, from, like, his deeper range all the way up to his, like, falsetto. Oh, yeah. Like, he has the largest range in BTS. And the fact that, like, in this song, he gets to show that range off so incredibly well. Excuse me, sir, I'ma die now. Jimin, beautiful angel voice. Tae is always a surprise to me because he's got this really beautiful, like, tenor tone.
I've said this multiple times, but Tae is a problem.
He's such a problem.
All the time.
He's such a problem. And the fact that, like, he can just switch the voices just back and forth. Like, the ending note that he had with his, like, high, like, head voice was oh my god, I had to pause the video and like rewind a little bit because I was like,
His lower register is smooth like butter.
Oh, it's gorgeous.
I did it. I made that pun.
It's incredible. Like, go listen to Singularity again because, like,
don't even get me started with Singularity.
Excuse me.
Don't even get me started with Singularity.
Yeah. And like, this song really does also show off and we talked about this again in like our take 2 reaction, but like the range of our rappers to have gotten so much more expansive, like especially Junie and
they've settled very well into their own style and flow.
Yeah. And it works so well as a trio. Like, I've said this so many times, but their voices together, because Hobi's is like that perfect, like high, beautifully like staccato voice that like pierces through.
Like Hobi's like up there, and then Junie, and then Yoongi like more on the lower tone.
And the way that they can just mesh those voices in and out of each other, like, come on. It's beautiful. Like, I'm just, I can't get enough of it. I really can't. It's my favorite.
All right, Sushita with Jin featuring Your Army Ho.
Okay, first of all, I called it. I called it so hard. Yeah. You don't even know. I called this. I predicted this
I was like,
week.
it's Hobi or JK. And it was Hobi. Yeah.
So
the way he came in though,
I was laughing so incredibly hard. I was really surprised at how open they were about talking, especially about like that 2017 2018 era of deciding whether they were going to disband or not, and then choosing to go forward. And I love what Jin said about, you know, just like, it was hard to talk about, but I think it was necessary to tell the fans where we were emotionally and how we were feeling at the time. And
I mean, they were highly overworked mentally and physically.
And, you know, by the time that they had decided that they were going in was past, obviously, that award show with the iconic moments that happened. Mm-hmm. So they had already decided to continue with the work that they were doing. And even though we didn't necessarily know the immediate struggles that they were having, I am so incredibly proud and grateful that they wanted to share those moments with us. And they have always been like this. They have always been honest and open about how they're feeling and their emotions at the time, or how they felt in the past. And
it's one of the reasons, like one of the things that set them apart from a lot of other groups.
100%, 100%. It's the honesty that I don't think we get to see, especially in the K-pop industry as a whole. We don't get to see these like backdoor discussions about things like disbanding or changing things or anything like that. We never get to see that. And I think that's also why the dinner last year for Festa was a really impactful period, because they were so honest about where they were and how they wanted to proceed going forward. And that's just a testament to like trusting ARMY to take those things and be like, it's going to be okay. I promise. Mm-hmm. So just like, it's incredible. And I also do love like that Jin and Yoongi's relationship is probably one of the uniquest that is in the group, because Yoongi, like Jin is his only young.
Yeah, they're the two oldest, and I think they're the closest in age, like in birthdays.
In birthdays, yeah. So I think, you know, their relationship is such a unique one, especially because they, you know, are forever roommates. Like Jin had said, like, they'll be roommates forever. He would be
he even said it. Yeah, he was like, if I had to choose any of the member, the only member to be a roommate, the only member I would choose is you, Yoongi.
Yeah.
Like, he said it on the show.
Oh, yeah. So. Yeah. It's amazing. And, you know, Yoongi, like, taking his advice from In the Soup and being like, you know, you can't change which, again, like, Jin, he just thinks so deeply about things, which is part of the reason why he's my bias. You know, he has this way to like really just say the things that need to be said, but without saying it as like a harsh or like a criticism, but more of like what am I trying to say? Like, it's not, he wants to say it in a way that like people will understand. And
a lot of people attribute
the
Jin to
advice.
being like the silly, funny all the time,
Yeah,
kind of young, but he's like very perceptive
100%.
and very well spoken, even
Yeah.
though he's one of the more quiet in certain instances,
Oh, for sure.
especially in like interviews and stuff like that.
Yeah, yeah.
But he's like very well spoken and very, yeah, it's like perceptive, and he gives
Yeah.
really good advice from what the members have said. So
Super good. I mean, like we even saw that within the soup, you know, he said to Yoongi, like, you can't change the past, you can only go forward. I'm just summarizing it, but that was basically the intent of their talk, because Yoongi at the time, you know, he was very much like in the past of like, we could have done this, we could have done that, it could have been better.
yeah, he was trying
this.
to write in the soup too, and he was struggling a lot.
Yeah, and
So
you know, Jin just said, you can't change what's in the past, you can only do what's going forward. You can't ever go back in time, you can only go forward in time. And I think that's such a smart thing to say, especially if like, you know, you're caught in this cycle of like thinking of things. It's like you have to just accept the things that you can't change. And anyway, as I was saying, sorry, there were some technical difficulties. There's a
this interruption
thunderstorm.
was brought to you by a Calgary thunderstorm.
sorry. But what I was trying to say was like Jin's like thing about, you know, you can't change the past for what it is. You have to just move forward, I think is an amazing sentiment that I'm really glad that Yoongi took that advice and implemented it into this D-Day album, because you can really just feel that in D-Day. Like, it's so incredibly clear.
I mean, it's one of the main theme of the album.
Yeah.
So you feel that a lot.
I feel that a lot. Hobie being a surprise guest is the funniest thing. His entrance is the top tier of hilarity. Also the fact that Yugi was getting so annoyed. He was like, who is this person interrupting my conversation?
Both of them almost being like, get the fuck out of here.
Yeah.
Who is this staff? Like, who is this
Who
intern?
is this? Who is this? Fire them immediately. And then it turns out to be the Sunshine. He was like, it had to be JK or Hobie, and I'm like, nailed it on the head. It obviously needed to be one of those two things.
It just makes sense, not considering that it came out and both of them are in the military. So
yeah. I also like really appreciate them, because Jin is even though he's like probably outwardly very confident, he's also very inwardly like reflective and has a lot of what I have, which is imposter syndrome of I
feel like he's very similar to Jin in that aspect. Like, they're both like very bubbly and fun on the outside, but they have this introspective that's very serious and perceptive.
Yes.
Both of them.
Also very self-critical.
Especially Hobie.
Especially Hobie. And honestly, I understand. Like, I am extremely self-critical as well. And sometimes it's a good thing, because it makes you want to be better and it makes you want to learn and grow and like do better at the stuff that you're doing. The other part of that caveat, though, is you get this imposter syndrome of like, do I even deserve to be where I am? And I'm really glad that Hobie and Yoongi...
It's one of the worst feelings.
It is one of the worst feelings. I'm really glad that Hobie and Yoongi were able to just like, I don't know, like reassure Jin that like, no, you have like one of the strongest ranges out of the group. You are the pillar of BTS. Like, without you, it wouldn't be BTS.
You are the young of BTS, and no one can take that from you.
Yeah. And I think like, even, you know, they said it so well of like, we are who we are because of each other. We are BTS because of the members.
And as I said earlier, they're all like a piece of the puzzle that that makes BTS. And
without one of them, it wouldn't be the same. It wouldn't be BTS. So they need each other. It's also like very their love for each other is just so unconditional. Like,
it knows no bounds.
It knows no bounds. It's so unconditional that you rarely get to see that in a not just in a group, but in male relationships as well. I feel like a lot of them don't show this like beautifully vulnerable
Yeah, that's
side.
something we've touched a couple times over like in the past couple episodes
Yeah,
too.
yeah. It's like
So,
very reassuring and very unconventional, but in like a super good way.
all
But
right.
I loved that episode. It did make me cry a couple of times, especially when they were talking about the 2017, 2018, because that
Yeah.
period of time was not a fun time to be an army. I can tell you that for free. It
Yeah, in
definitely,
that sense, I kind of got lucky with
yeah, a
when
little bit.
I because I became an army like basically right after,
Yeah,
literally.
yeah. It was not, I had to like step away from Twitter at
It
that
must
point.
have been so toxic during that
Oh,
time. It must have been
super toxic.
so bad.
Super toxic, super just not the best time to be an army like at all.
But we got a trailer for youth drama based on the HYYH storyline.
Yes, we finally got the trailer for it. It's interesting. I am interested to see what they are going to do with this drama. You know, it'll be interesting to see where they take it, you know. Like
Yeah.
here's the thing with media, and I've said this before as somebody who like works in film and television, and especially adaptations being the key factor here, is
Yeah.
that it's not going to be a one-for-one recreation. And I think a lot of people need to like wrap their head around that concept, because it's something like you can't translate one media form into another media form 100%. It just doesn't work that way.
That's why like book adaptations a lot of the time there's like some stuff like some series or some like universe are better represented than others when it's
Yes.
adapted into film or TV shows.
Yeah.
One that comes to mind that did like fairly okay, The Hunger Games did fairly okay, but
Yep.
the Divergent series didn't even get its last film released because
No.
it did so bad. But hopefully it's a decent one with this one.
Yeah,
We can
hopefully.
only hope.
I mean,
Usually,
yeah,
like
that's
K dramas are like most of the time usually like really good.
yeah, they're
So
usually quite good. I think it'll be, I think you got to take off the like the Bora lens a little bit
oh
and
yeah,
just like look at it as a new piece of media rather than the connection that it has from the old one. As long as it's a like as long as that's respectful to the original source material,
yeah,
it'll be a good
for
adaptation.
sure, for sure.
That's the key for me when it comes to adaptations. Like the Hunger Games did that really well, Lord of the Rings being another one,
Yeah,
Harry
because
Potter
you
for the
also have
most
to
part.
remember that the BTS universe was a web novel too.
Yes.
So they can also take a bit from that as well. So
Yeah.
hopefully, with those details and imagery added to the actual like imagery from the music videos, we might get something that's pretty decent. So I'm
Yeah.
pretty excited for that.
Yeah, it'll be interesting.
Pretty
Pretty
excited.
exciting.
Um,
So members have been on our social medias, obviously yesterday specifically because it was the anniversary date, and today. So Namjoon, of course, posted a beautifully written letter. Uh I love him so much. Like
every single time we're just like he's so well spoken. I love him.
yeah.
That's not gonna change.
No, it's really not. I know he talked about like a lot in that letter about growth and growing together, and he still doesn't feel adequate as a person.
I feel Juni right now is probably the member that still feels the most imposter syndrome out of all seven of them.
Yeah,
I feel like him having the responsibility of leader probably has a major impact on that.
probably. Yes.
Um, the only thing we can do is just keep on telling him that he's doing a good job, and the rest has to come from within.
Yeah.
So,
And I think that's a time thing. It's also an age thing as well.
Yeah.
I know, like, for myself, the older you get, the more introspective you become, and the more that you realize the thoughts that are, you know, very like put down, and those kind of go away with time. They're always going to be there because it's the thing about life. But the
But at some
voices,
point, it probably a little less
yeah,
significant than it used to be.
100%. Yeah, like the voices that you hear in your head sometimes that tell you that you're not good enough, or that you can't do things, or you're not worthy of certain things. Those voices become less and less the more and more you become who you are, and the more that you accept those things.
Listen, I'm
Those
excited for mine to start shutting up.
It's a good time. Listen, I have had a blast in my 30s. It has been the best time ever.
And I'm just over here like, I'm just 26.
I think like for most of the time, like your 20s, well, your 20s are about like figuring your 20s are about figuring out who you are, right? Like they're about figuring out who you want to be, how you want to live your life.
People tell you that's your teens, they're fucking lying.
It's not, it's your 20s. Because you feel the most not yourself yet.
Yeah, because you literally get thrown into the adult world as soon as you're 18/21, depending on where you are.
Yeah,
and then you're like, oh, by the way, you got all these responsibilities that you didn't really have before.
Yeah.
Or you had them to a lesser extent.
100%.
And now it's like slap you in the face and you're like, hello, I'm here.
I'm still a child. Yeah. So I feel like your 20s, and I think that like Indigo is a perfect representation for Namjoon for that. And even in this letter, you know, like touching on those things, I think the older that he gets, the more secure he'll become, because he also won't be necessarily worrying about the other members because they're adults now. They can,
because they're also growing into their own people and their 100%. Own personalities and their own responsibilities.
Yeah.
So
I love you, Junie.
Ultimately he's our president. He's
always
the leader of BTS. We're so incredibly proud. And
always.
Yeah. Always have a place in my heart.
He's my comfort person. He's the person that I go to when I need like a pick-me-up.
There's a reason for every single person I wish a happy birthday to. It's always a Namjoon gift. Yeah. He's so comforting, but he's also so comforting. Him blowing his candles by turning in his chair will never not be funny.
It will never not be funny to me, honestly. We also got a letter from Jin, which I was extremely surprised about. His was both sentimental.
We got a post on Instagram as well.
We did get a post on Instagram. It was like both sentimental, but also kind of sad because he wasn't here to celebrate it with us in person. And I think part of the reason that the members also probably feel a little sad as well is because they're not celebrating it together or in person with us. And that unfortunately is just a factor of like COVID really just throwing everything.
I mean, that's how it's going to be this year and next year at the very least, if not also 2025, depending on when they're all out.
Yeah. So. The good news is though, is Jin has 1 year left. He will be out.
Hell yeah!
He will be out.
A third done. Let's go. I'm dabbing for you, Jin. Let's go.
So we got a year left, and to be honest,
I feel embarrassed with myself now.
I was gonna just blow past that, but I'm so incredibly proud of him, and I think even if they're not together, it still feels like we're celebrating the 10 years together.
I mean, wasn't it one of the reasons why he wanted the Sushita video to come out in June so he could watch it with his
100%
platoon? So
100%.
Yeah. I'm very happy for that.
Very, very happy. Yoongi finished his shows in Bangladesh, right?
My God,
Bangkok,
shared a meal with ARMY. I was there. He looked hot. Also, the thumbnail for that live.
It's so funny. It's so funny. Yeah, so he went live after his
He
Bangkok
recreated
shows.
Hegum.
He did. Except in the most like silly Yoongi way possible.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
The most little meow meow kind of way.
100%. I obviously like he was talking about because this came out like Saturday, Sunday.
Yes.
One of those 2 days. The day after he was finished the Bangkok, like the last Bangkok show.
It was Saturday morning or Sunday morning for me. It was one or the other.
One or the other. So, you know, he was talking a lot about the shows, obviously, but then he was also talking about, you know, 10-year anniversary and Take Two, and it was just so nice to see him like enjoying a meal, hanging out with us. It was so much fun.
It looks so good.
So good. I'm so
even
jealous.
like I don't eat clams, oyster, and everything. It looks great.
Amazing. I also need to give a shout out to Bangkok Armies for doing the OT7 fan chant with Life Goes On.
Weren't they also the ones that made the little moving Yoongi posters?
Yes,
too?
they absolutely were. Like,
listen, Thai Army. Mwah, chef's kiss.
Chef kisses to you. But I love his little like smile when they started doing the fan chant during Life Goes On. Like how I can't wait till they're back together. Hobie, J-Hope. Again, I wasn't expecting him to be posting.
Yeah, I believe for him, even though he finished his basic, it's still pretty limited in what he can post.
100%.
Because he obviously hasn't been in the military for as long as Jin has.
Yeah.
But we still were able to get a post on Instagram from Hobie. I believe he probably just like hand wrote and drew on his phone. And it's so I miss this dude.
I know, I miss Hobie so much. That's why I was so glad to see him in the Sushita interview, because it was just like
the Sushita interview, obviously the live clip for Take Two.
Yeah.
It's just like
my like, sun and moon.
It's just I know it's so bad. Our like universe is literally gone. Our ecosystem cannot thrive right now.
It really can't. It really can't at all.
The earth is not turning no more.
No, it's not. Tay decided to surprise us.
Jimin?
Oh, I did. I'm sorry, Jimin.
Forgot How can you forget Jimin?
Jimin, I'm so sorry. Yeah, so he had posted his Weaver's letter as well. Very sincere. That man makes me cry so hard. Excuse you. How dare you?
How dare you?
Just like he uses such sweet language when he talks to armies. Like it's so incredibly just like heart wrenching, you know, like he just uses this beautifly sweet
he uses like
language.
Sweet and cute language, and you're like, I just want to hug you.
I just want to hug you. Jimin! Jimin. And I know he did mention like in his post about like feeling bad for not coming to visit us, but honestly to me it's like the little things that we get to see here and there. I still feel love. I still feel loved from him. I don't need
the fact that he took the time just to write a message.
Yeah,
more than enough.
100% more than adequate for this. And he also posted on Instagram as well, along with all of the other members, minus JK, because he was like, nah fam, I'm out.
Dude probably doesn't even he doesn't even have an Instagram no more.
Doesn't have an Instagram anymore. He deleted it.
Yeah, it was like, I don't want to remember this password. I'm just gonna get rid of it.
I understand. It's all right. I get
it.
But
Tay went on live
for 10 minutes.
Oh wow, we got so spoiled. But also he went onto Instagram and posted a bunch of stories from over the years.
He did. His live was so incredibly funny. Also, Jin had popped into his live, which is So funny. He was like, stop playing with your hair, like make a heart for armies. I was like, boy, really be out here shooting his shot, hey?
Listen, he can't act young to his nonsense so much, so he's just like, I just gotta do what I can.
I gotta do what I can. His blonde hair is incredibly. Ooh,
listen, I don't want to talk
man,
about it. I don't want to
so
talk
good.
about it.
It's
When
so
we saw that
good.
first photo, I
Also,
didn't want to
like,
talk about it. I
Yunten.
still don't want to talk about it. Yunten, I will talk about.
Yes,
I
he's so
love
cute.
this dog to pieces.
I also love how he was like, let's weigh you, and then it just immediately into the lap, and he's like, no, you need to go over here. It's so endearing. I love it.
This duo, like, I will
An icon.
I will take a bullet for this duo.
100%. All day, every day. And his beautifully sort of stories he's been giving us. First of all, he did Junie dirty in so many of those. Sir?
That's what he usually do.
Are you
like,
there?
He usually does his members dirty.
Man,
he is the most, like, the trolliest
He's
member
such
of
a
BTS.
troll. I like some of my favorites is obviously the one where he's like he has like the smaller camera over that shot of Junie with his like crazy hair. I love that.
Well, you
it.
saw the one where he's just like there with like the long coat and the fucking Q-tip in his mouth?
Yeah.
What is he doing?
Oh.
I'm sure this is definitely like a newer video.
100%. I don't know. I don't know.
Why a Q-tip? Were you out of toothpicks?
I don't know. Maybe he's just doing like a bit. I don't know.
But a Q-tip, that must ew.
I don't know, man. He's a weirdo
texture.
and I love him. Yeah, we've gotten so much fun behind the scenes stuff. The workout one, I was like, "You out of your mind, get out of here." I'm skipping.
Get out of here.
Skip, and then he like Junie is also. That man is backwards crawling in the background for what? I understand it's an exercise, but like.
That's like when he acted as a dog on stage.
I'm like, what are we doing?
It's literally the same energy.
What are we doing?
But anyway, this week we put JK to sleep.
We did. So JK decided, well, he was waking up.
No, apparently he was just going to bed at 7 a.m.
Well, because his sleep has been so different. So he had woken up from sleep previously, and then he was chatting with us for a little bit, and then he was like, I shouldn't fall asleep on camera. Probably not fall. I shouldn't do it.
He didn't want to fall asleep because he was afraid he might snore. And it was like, sleeping on camera is fine. It's so snoring that's a big no-no.
Which is also fine. Like, I don't understand
it's
why
like,
that's
it
such a big
literally
deal.
felt like ARMY as a community was like rocking a baby to sleep, put him in the crib, and then we're like, yes, he's asleep. We did it.
There was 5 million people watching.
I was one of them. I watched the whole thing.
I watched the whole thing. I don't know what to say to you. I watched the whole thing.
Okay, but also we're the people that watched Buttermilk for an hour.
Yeah, you got a good point. It was like an hour of him like chatting and then sleeping, chatting, sleeping, and then just sleeping.
The little yawns and the sleepy mumbles. It's just, you know, when something is so cute, you just want to squish it.
Yeah.
So hard that
so hard.
Pop.
Yeah.
That's what it was.
And then like I got the like wheel of death that happens, and then I'm like, oh, the staff turned it off.
Yeah, I was at one point. When he was asleep, I was just like, I'm just gonna keep on doing my laundry. So I had Jhope sleeping, and I was folding laundry.
Yep. I was doing other things at the same time, and it was really fun. And then he comes on Weverse later, and he's like, heh. That's all we get. Yes. Just a little heh.
As a fellow 97 liner, I do not condone this this behavior.
I do not condone it. I do not. Anyway, we've had a full week of BTS, and I am just so grateful to have them in my life.
Yeah. At this point, I feel like we've expressed this in so many ways, like in so many different ways, in such a short amount of time that I'm just like, I don't want to repeat myself. I just love them. I'm proud of them, and I can't wait for all of them to be back together in 25. And
yeah,
we'll be here. And yeah.
All right. Let's go out to songs of the week.
Songs of the week.
The BTS songs that we've chosen should not be a surprise to anybody. If y'all can guess.
But also, speaking of song, Jess and I have both individually, and she's also been doing it on our podcast Instagram story. We've been doing the 30-day Festa song challenge.
Yes.
Once that is done, we will review our choices. Jess is going to be wild. She's basically going to be doing it for a third time. I've been writing mine down because my memory is shit sometimes.
Yeah, we'll see if anything changes from
once
the podcast.
That's done, so like early July we'll be doing that.
Yeah,
and look forward to it because that's gonna be pretty cool. So songs of the week. Do you want to go first?
Sure, I'll go first this time. So my BTS song this week is Dear Army from our lovely Jimin. I just think that performance was absolutely beautiful, and it really touched my heart in so many ways. It was very
apropos for Festa.
Yeah, 100%. And my not BTS song is a little bit different than my BTS song. It's from a band called Valley, and the song is called Hiccup. It's a very interesting song. I think it really does remind me of TXT's discography, which is why I like it. So I think you'd like it too. It's quite good. I find a lot with these bands that there's not a lot of female male vocalists in bands, and this one has both of those together, which I really like. Yeah, and they both like sing, and it's nice.
It works nice.
They're like an indie like pop rock.
Yeah, I'll have to check it out.
Yeah, it's a good song. I like it.
All right, so my BTS song is Take Two.
It was gonna be mine, but
yeah, I was kind of surprised that you didn't. So I was like, I'm gonna jump on this bandwagon real quick. This shouldn't be surprising for anyone. Especially if you've seen our reaction video, should not be surprising whatsoever.
No.
My non-BTS song, speaking of TXT, is Farewell Neverland. It was kind of a toss-up between Tinnitus and Farewell Neverland, but I ultimately fell back up on Farewell Neverland. You guys know this is probably one of my like top 3 TXT songs.
Yep.
So let's wrap this up now, shall we?
Yes. Don't forget to stream Take Two playlist.
Yeah, do it. Don't loop
in the description.
It's not
good. Go stream it.
But as usual, we have a new podcast episode coming out every Thursday and a new clip coming out every Sunday at 3 p.m. EST. You can also listen to us on the go, basically on any app where you would listen to your podcast on the go. You can also find us on our social medias at Army ThinkTank or at Army ThinkTank Podcast. And don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and ring the bell to be notified whenever we post a new video. On that note, have a good week. And we'll see you guys next Thursday for more, hopefully, Festa stuff. So.
Yes, this is very true. We still got a lot more of Festa, so we will see you guys next week. Bye.
Yet to come.